Good afternoon, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be I'm going to finish up the shifter linkage, and I'm going to wrap the wiring harness in tape and see if I can get this wiring harness installed on the car today. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. It's raining outside, this is the evening, and I'm probably going to be working until it gets dark to get this wiring harness on. Again, like I said in my last video, I'm trying to finish this up. So there's a lot of work I need to do up under the rear end, so I need to get the engine stuff taken care of. So let's get started. Okay, so basically for the column shift to the transmission, I bought a 1/4-inch threaded rod and put 2 little heim joints on each end, and I cut it down to size, and I'm just going to replace that rod right there. So let's go ahead and get it done and let me test it out. Okay, shifter linkage is connected, but it's still not working like it's supposed to. I'm gonna have to get someone over here to help me so they can move the shifter on the inside of the car while I get up under it and see what it's doing. So let's go ahead and get to the next part of this video, which is going to be the wiring harness. So I got my wiring harness back, and as you see, everything is loomed up, labeled. So what I'm gonna do now is just gonna go ahead and tape it up, because this loom is just here just to protect it. So I'm just gonna put the tape on it for a heat protection, and just to make it look more factory-like. So I'm not going to record me doing it for the simple fact it's raining and I have the fan on in the shop, so the audio is not going to be good, but I'll show you as I get it completed. Okay, got the wire harness all taped up, and I'm getting ready to lay it out on the car just to see how where I'm going to put things at and how I'm going to mount it. Alright, I'll just throw it across the engine and see what we can do with it. And actually, let me look up the firing order of this engine, because I need to know that so I know which side the injectors and stuff go on. So alright, well, I'm going to look that up, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this harness on the drape it across the engine. Okay, so it's starting to get late now, but what I'm gonna, you see I got the engine harness draped over the engine, got the injectors plugged in. I gotta cut these brackets down to lower this where the hood won't close, so I didn't connect my coil packs yet, so I gotta figure out how to cut this down and how far to go with it. Got my cam position sensor plugged in. I can't seem to find my crank position sensor, yeah, where it goes. It looks like it should go right there, but it's not fitting in there. So I'm gonna do some research to see if that's the actual crank position sensor or if it's somewhere else that I'm overlooking. So, but I'll pick up on this video tomorrow, and I'll put the rest of the harnesses on as well. So yeah, I gotta cut the oil tube down also. It's sticking up, if you see right there, that's sticking up too high, so I gotta cut that down. Gotta figure out where to mount the computer at. So don't have a lot of hard work to do. I just got some things I need to really think about how I'm gonna do it. So just like I said, it's starting to get late now. My mind ain't working like it should, so I'm gonna go ahead and knock off and pick up on this tomorrow. Okay, picking back up on the wiring with this car. I got a lot of stuff I need to do today, such as that coil pack bracket. I have to cut it down and figure out how to mount that relay box over there, and just get everything wired up. So that's my goal today, is to finish up all the wiring. I got some fittings for the radiator, so I hope they fit. I'm gonna try to, if they do, I'm gonna try to get the coolant hoses on to get the radiator mounted. And just like I said, just trying to knock out the rest of the little stuff so I can move on and go back to the rear of the car. So let's get started. Okay, so I got the coil packs taken off of the bracket, and you can see where I marked the bracket on both sides to where I'm gonna cut it. And I'm gonna cut it, make that first cut, and then I'll decide how much needs to come off of this bracket here and then weld it back together. But I'm just gonna cut the brackets off first, and that's what I'm about to do now. So I'll come back to the video once I cut the brackets off, and just like I said, I'll figure out how much needs to come out of each leg. Alright, so I got the leg pieces cut off the bracket. So now, just like I said, I'm gonna have to take probably about 1 inch out of each side, and hopefully that would be enough to get me to where I need to be. So let me go ahead and measure and mark these pieces so I can cut that inch out. Okay, so got the brackets cut down and got them welded on. So now what I'm about to do is just put some spray some primer on it and paint it so that it wouldn't rust. But overall it's about 1 inch lower, and I'm hoping that that'll work. Okay, got the coil pack bracket on. I also finished making the cables, the battery cables, and what I'm about to do now is put the intake on. But so I can reach everything, I need to take it off of the jack stands. So I'm about to jack it up and take it off the jack stands to get the car back down level, and I'll put the intake on. Okay, got the intake in. Just trying to figure out the whole routing of this air filter. This fan been off the entire time, and now that I want to start back recording, it comes up back on. Alright, but I got the intake on. As you can see, you got the spark wires plugged in. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm still trying to figure out this oil fill tube. It's coming out right in front of the throttle body, and I can't see how this wasn't an issue with the Mountaineer. It just doesn't make sense because none of this stuff changed. So let me try to figure out what's going on here and why this thing is coming up this direction. Because either way I turn it around, it's still in front of the throttle body. So, alright, well, I'll come back to the video once I figure out what I'm going to do with that. And then I'm going to get the radiator in and try to get the computer mounted and that relay box mounted. Okay, so I figured out my oil tube. I just extended it that way and brought it up. Also mounted my computer and mounted the relay box right there. So I think I'm about to wrap it up. I also put the mass airflow sensor on, and I think I'm going to wrap it up. I'm just going to check and make sure my radiator or my transmission coolant line fittings fit into my radiator, and I might get that in here, and I think I'm going to wrap it up. So let me get to it. Alright, so the fittings don't fit for my radiator. I have these, and apparently they're not the right size, so I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure out what fits that fitting right there. I think that looks like the same size as the back end of this fitting. I think it looks like the same size as that, so I just need to find something that'll fit in there, and then it should work. Okay, so you just saw the video of me putting the wiring harness on and buttoning up everything else, just getting everything together inside of the engine, or the engine bay. I still got a little bit of stuff to do. I want to, even though I had the computer mounted, I want to put some kind of shield around it, like a heat shield around it. So I'm going to try to fabricate something to go around it to kind of help protect it a little bit. I mounted the relay box, but I'm not 100% sure I want to leave it there. So I might move that. And I gotta figure out the fittings for the radiator. I don't know what's going on with that radiator and the size. I just gotta figure out the fittings for it. So I'm gonna try to do that so I can get the radiator permanently mounted. And I got the plug wires on, so I got the majority of the stuff wired up in the car. I just gotta drill a hole through the firewall to run the OBD2 connector inside of the car. So I got some stuff I need to run inside of the car that plugs up to manual gauges. So I gotta get that done, and the engine part will be taken care of. So just like I said before, got to get the engine part taken care of because I need to move to the back of the car for the rear end. So thanks for watching. Click on that subscribe button if you haven't. My videos are going to be a little bit longer when dealing with the Maverick because I'm trying to finish this up and I don't want to do a whole bunch of little videos. So all my videos are going to be a little bit longer and it's going to have more content in it. Thanks for watching. See you next week.